We located another Radiant. Kingdom took him in after he scrounged through the haven in Russia, Brimstone explained, while entering the room. He slammed down some papers and looked around the room. Just a few members of Valorant Protocol were present, as usual. Sage was sitting to his right, taking the papers full of interest and nodding at every word. Cypher was sitting right next to her, with less interest for Brimstone. He was working on his camera, sometimes tipping his screwdriver on the table. Killjoy looked over his shoulder, watching his actions carefully. She seemed so concentrated that she hadn't even realized Brimstone entering the room. On the opposite side was Sova, fully concentrating on what the boss had to say. The only surprise was Phoenix, who sat at the back of the room. "And how's that our problem? We can't take every Radiant in," he asked skeptical, but secretly he hoped to meet a Radiant his age and gender. He loved Raze and Jet, and he respected Omen, yet he was sometimes feeling alone. "That's right, but we should look out for everyone," Brimstone answered. "His powers seem useful, but also uncontrolled. He has no one to go to, and I think he's with the wrong people at Kingdom. We should rescue him," Sage concluded slowly. "This needs to be a silent mission. I don't want to risk any trouble." Brimstone looked around. "Cypher, you and Omen will make a good team for this. I want you two to discuss it today, so we can rescue him quickly." Cypher groaned. He wasn't really thrilled to meet the new person first. "I'll take care of it." Cypher stood up, ready to leave the room. "Hey, can I join?" Phoenix suddenly asked. Everyone quickly looked at him. Killjoy clearly had a hard time holding her laugh. And also Cypher seemed really amused. "No offense, Phoenix, but you can get a little heated at times," he answered, chuckling. Killjoy snorted and turned away to let out her laugh. "Yeah, I'm not known to be the quiet and careful guy, but I can learn it, and I can keep our backs free in any emergency." Phoenix defended himself. After some seconds of silence, Brimstone nodded. "You're part of the team, but you gotta listen to Cypher. If you cause any trouble, Phoenix, you won't be going on any mission too soon." Cypher sighed again and left the room. Before he disappeared completely, he looked directly at Phoenix. "I'll text you. Miss it and you're out." Phoenix nodded, slightly intimidated. Brimstone sat down and sighed a little. A new skycrack had disappeared over the Caribbean. We still have to find out if it's a natural one or if other Valorant protocols are there. "I sent Viper to check it out, but she's 6 hours over report you." Brimstone got cut off by Sage. "Why would you send her alone anyways? We agreed on never going alone." "She wouldn't let anyone join her." "But you're right, of course." "We will search for her." Sage looked up to Sova, who nodded quickly and left the room to get the stuff. "Don't worry too much, Brimstone. She's a tough woman," Sage concluded, also standing up and leaving. Killjoy looked around for a while, then left as well. Phoenix wanted to quickly follow her, but was held back by his boss. "Did something happen at the training ground?" "No, why would you think that?" Phoenix let himself fall back into his chair. "Because you joined the meeting instead of hanging out with your friends?" "Nah, it's good. I just think I have the responsibility to be present." Brimstone chuckled a little. "And what motivated you to take on a stealth mission?" "I want to learn new things. I could be helpful to Valorant." "You also hope to find a new friend, don't you?" Phoenix was kind of surprised by Brimstone's words, but at the same time, he wasn't. No matter how strict or distant he had to be, Phoenix felt of Brimstone as a father of sorts. He watched over them and protected them, and he would always be there to talk. "I understand that it's hard to not have similar peers around. I can't replace that. But if you need to talk about anything, I'll be there, young flame." Phoenix smiled. As Brimstone slowly left, Phoenix sighed and finally left as well. Phoenix was jumping out of the helicopter carefully. Omen and Cypher were walking in front of him. Phoenix looked around, his pistol tight in his hand, and tried to make out the spots Cypher has marked on his map beforehand. "Okay, Phoenix, we're going in. No looking around and no action. Just straight to the Radiant." Phoenix nodded. He walked into a big hall. and remembered where exactly he had to go. He headed straight through the halls. Only after 5 minutes he realized Cypher wasn't with him anymore. He followed his way and finally found the little room where the Radiant was imprisoned. In this exact moment, the alarms went off. All workers were ordered to leave the building. Phoenix looked at the door. He couldn't open it, so he got ready to burn it, but it swung right open before he could light it up. The room was dark, and in the corner, on a bed-like furniture, sat a silhouette. Hey, I'm Phoenix, and I want to get you out of here. Phoenix entered. But you have to stay by my side. The person stood up and reached out of his hands, which were bound together. Phoenix thought for a second. Then he laid his hand on the blue glowing metal. This might get a little hot, he warned the other Radiant. Then he started heating his hands, slowly melting away the metal. Here we go. We can leave now, Phoenix exclaimed quickly, turning into the door to leave. Where is my mask? The stranger asked with a deep and cold voice, while taking a step into Phoenix's direction. Your mask? The fire Radiant turned around. It was the first chance he got to really look at the other. He was instantly amazed by the young boy in front of him. His slim black eyes fitted perfectly into his slim face, which got extended by the high-styled black hair on his head. Directly above his forehead, Phoenix was able to make out a blue line of hair that perfectly matched his indigo blue jacket. The boy was thin and small. He was really cute in Phoenix's eyes. Some weird feeling told him to spend more time with him. So you don't have it? He asked unfriendly. He sounded so mysterious and only thrilled Phoenix more, to get to know him more. No, dude, it can't be that important. Let's just leave. Phoenix tried to grab the boy's arm, but he disappeared into a black thing right in front of him. Wait, where you go? Phoenix shouted and quickly looked around, but he couldn't find the mysterious boy in the blue jacket. He cursed quiet and slammed his foot against the wall. Cypher was going to kill him for this. The mission was this easy and he failed anyways? Phoenix started wandering around the facility, but he couldn't find a trace of the stranger. Well, Phoenix, lost our escort? Cypher chuckled suddenly. Phoenix got so scared by the sudden voice in his ear, he jumped on the spot. He completely forgot that Cypher and Omen could hear him. Cypher, my man, I'm so sorry, but he just teleported away. Phoenix tried to defend himself. Don't worry, Hotshot. That was part of the plan. Just get back to the helicopter and wait for my call. Cypher explained, still amused. Phoenix walked away from the room, still confused and worried. Worried about the well-being of the boy they were supposed to rescue. Phoenix was constantly seeing his cold and mysterious face in front of him. He wanted to know more about this guy and spend a lot of time with him. It was so ridiculous to him. He didn't even know his name. Yet he felt an odd attraction towards him. Phoenix got out of the facility. He saw no kingdom staff, and it was scaredly quiet. He stepped close to the camouflage helicopter and waited for Cypher. It took some time, but eventually he saw a blue figure inside the facility, moving to the wide open door in Phoenix's direction. But he suddenly was held back by a glowing string. A loud, high-pitched sound was heard. Found them. Get them, Phoenix, the Radiant was told. He immediately sprinted toward the black-haired guy who was still trapped in Cypher's wires. Right before Phoenix got to him, the red string exploded and he fell to the front. Phoenix catched him right in time and checked him quietly. Cypher, my man, what did you do? You knocked him out. Just a new wire I wanted to test out. You like it? You could have killed him, man. Cypher just laughed. Get on the helicopter now, Omen suddenly ordered. Phoenix took a quick look back. Then he hurried back with the rescue in his arms. When he entered, Omen and Cypher were already there. How did you get here before me? He asked, while placing the passed-out boy on the seat next to him. We have our secrets, Hotshot, Cypher chuckled. It annoyed Phoenix. Not only the nickname Cypher gave him, but also how carefree he seemed to be. He would always be amused on mission, like he didn't care for Valorant. Why do you care so much about this guy, Phoenix? The Fire Radiant looked at the boy next to him. I don't know, mate. He seems like a cool guy, you know? Well, I mean, I don't even know his name, Phoenix explained, trying desperately to hide his attractiveness and curiosity. He stared a while at his peaceful resting face, his eyelashes dancing a little in the soft wind. Phoenix couldn't deny this boy with his mystical powers was one of the most beautiful people he had ever seen, and he'd love to spend more time with him and get to know him. He heard Cypher chuckle again and looked up. The Moroccan was wearing his face mask, but Phoenix could feel his bright grin on his face. He calls himself Yoru, the man told him, and turned away to his cameras. Phoenix sighed a little and turned back to the boy. Yoru. He liked that name, and for some unknown reason, he couldn't stop smiling for the entire time. Back at the headquarters, Phoenix carried Yoru out of the helicopter. Sky was standing in the entrance to the facility, but quickly walked to the two boys. He looks fine, but let me check him. As long as Sage is here, alright? She asked Phoenix, wanting to take Yoru, but Omen stepped in between them. You Radiant healers will be the last to check on his well-being. I'm experienced enough for this. You need to stop your bigotry, Shadow Man. Phoenix simply walked away, carrying Yoru in bridal style with him. He was really lightweighted and easy to carry. Intentionless, the Fire Radiant took him to his room and carefully laid him down on his bed. Phoenix took a seat at his desk and turned his rolling chair towards Yoru. He promised he wouldn't leave his side until he woke up again. He felt responsible for him, and he felt bad to rescue him from one prison, just so they could prison him here again. His phone vibrated in his pocket. When he took it out, he saw a message from Cypher on the screen. He opened it. Taking care of your sweetheart, huh? Phoenix looked around. Did Cypher secretly install a camera again? Don't try it, you will not burn my stuff again. Why are you spying on me, man? Phoenix texted back. He hated the lack of privacy he got at Valorant and just wished to be able to move out. I'm not hotshot. Phoenix got confused and asked the mysterious Moroccan what he meant by that, yet he didn't get an answer back. Phoenix sighed and laid back in his chair. It took 2 hours for Yoru to wake up. He looked around in confusion until his cold gaze stopped at Phoenix. What am I doing here? He asked directly. We wanted to talk to you, man, the British answered. Yoru lifted one eyebrow. Who is we? Valorant Protocol. We're trying to protect the Earth. Phoenix didn't know if that was too much information for him, but he couldn't keep his mouth shut around him. By capturing random citizen? We wanted you to join, man. You're a really powerful guy. Yoru smiled for a short second. Then he looked at Phoenix directly into the eye. And you are the boss here. A little smirk appeared on Yoru's lips. Phoenix looked back confused. Then he stood up and shocked. No, sorry. Oh, let's go there. Yoru got up from bed carefully, but he fell a little when Phoenix caught him and helped him back up. The boy with the blue jacket nodded in embarrassment. They left the room together, and the Fire Radiant led him to the conference room. Brimstone was always in there over the day if there was no mission, looking at boring statistics and analyzing them. To Phoenix's surprise, Killjoy and Cypher were present as well, looking at them while the two boys entered and took their seat at the end of the room. Brimstone was standing in front of the huge screen, turning his back to the fellow agents. Why are you guys here? Phoenix asked the two technicians. To greet on your pal right here, Killjoy exclaimed loudly. How did you know that he was awake? We have our secrets, Cypher said. Phoenix could hear his smirk, and also remembered the guy's many cameras, making him look at Cypher in anger. But before he could put his emotions into words, the leader turned around. Nice to see you around, Yoru. Phoenix has probably already told you who you are. Yoru nodded, clearly feeling uncomfortable. How do you know my name? He asked. It was on the kingdom documents. Don't worry too much. If you want to leave, you're free to go. We would like you to join Valorant Protocol As you're a powerful Radiant, we try to protect the world. I would suggest you stay for some time to get to know everything and everyone. Then he'll make a final decision later, Brimstone told him. Well, that's all great, Yoru started carefully. But you're giving me no reason to stay. I don't necessarily want to protect the world. Well, Valorant provides shelter and food, as well as education, and you get to learn more about your powers and how to control them. You will also get special access to different opportunities, and you can connect to other people here, of course. Yora's eyes lit up when Brimstone talked about special access. What kind of special access would that be? Well, anything you need for your missions. Talking to high-rank politicians, easy access to university researches and study, everything more or less. Yoru nodded slowly, clearly having something in mind. I would like to stay here for a while. I can make a decision in 2 weeks. Brimstone looked really happy. Glad you take the opportunity. I'll see you around. I suggest you stay with Phoenix for the time being, since you already know each other. The two boys looked at each other. Phoenix was so happy that he could stay with Yoru some more, and also show him around. A little smile appeared on his lips as he stared at the other boy a little longer. Cypher chuckled next to them, making both turn around immediately. What's so funny, man? Phoenix shouted at him. Cypher looked directly at him, with his one eye through the mask. Phoenix could feel his smug smirk. Oh, nothing, hotshot. I'm just supportive. He stood up and left the room, without saying anything else. Killjoy quickly moved over, with the biggest smile on her face. Hey! I'm Killjoy. It is so exciting to meet you. I'm like the tech lady here. She laughed. I mean, I build bots and stuff, so if you need anything, just text me. She laughed nervously again, putting down a paper with a few numbers on them, and quickly left the room. Yoru took the card and looked around. Brimstone was sitting in front of the huge monitor, his back facing the two boys. I don't even have a phone anymore, Yoru mumbled. Oh, we'll take care of that. Oh, let's just go to our room first and then think of everything you need, Phoenix suggested, while excitedly standing up. Yoru looked at him critically. Our room? Phoenix slowed his action and gazed through the room, embarrassed to avoid Yoru's judging eyes. I mean, you need a room until you get yours right. Yoru smiled, amused and touched, but he wouldn't let Phoenix know. Let's go then. We could also eat something. Phoenix nodded quickly, relieved that he wasn't mad or disgusted. He left the room with Yoru behind him and already thought about what he would want to cook for Yoru. Yoru was sitting straight up in his bed, watching the moon outside the window. The silence was only broken by Phoenix's soft and dynamic snorts. In his hands, the Japanese boy held his ancestor's mask. It was a blue samurai mask with a white animal mouth and large, sharp teeth. He stole it from that kingdom haven, where they also keep the rest of the armor. He wanted to learn more about him, and eventually get his ancestors' armor back. Yoru sighed as his gaze slowly wandered towards the British, who was sleeping peacefully in the bed across the room. He was thankful that Phoenix cared so much about him, and he had to admit, despite the so limited time they know each other, he did too. Yoru felt good and safe and loved around the other Radiant, but that might come from the fact that Yoru hasn't socialized in a long time, and Phoenix probably was just an energetic extrovert. Suddenly, Phoenix's snoring stopped. He sat up and looked tired at Yoru. You're still awake, he mumbled. I had a lot to think about, Yoru explained quietly. He could barely see the other boy, as the moonlight was the only source of light right now. Thanks for having me, Phoenix. Yeah, no problem, man, Phoenix immediately said. They got quiet for a moment. Yoru already thought about laying down when Phoenix started to talk again. I'm really happy that you're here and we get along so well. I love the little time we spent together. Or hopefully it will be a lot more. Yoru was a little surprised by the words of the softness and kindness from the fire radiant, and it made him smile in happiness. It seems as he could build a really good friendship with this guy. I think so too, Yoru quietly said, still with a smile on his face. Phoenix laid down. Sleep well, Yoru. You too, Phoenix. Yoru waited a little until Phoenix was asleep again. Then he put the mask into a small rift pocket he had slowly learned to open safely. He sighed the last time, then laid down as well.